Welcome to Cardboard Chemistry. I'm your host, MTG Labman, and today we're continuing our Secrets of Strixhaven favorite card series with favorite green cards from the Secrets of Strixhaven. Starting off, we have Ambitious Augmenter, 1 green for a 1/1 Turtle Wizard with the new Quandrix mechanic Increment, which has whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana you spend is greater than this creature's power or toughness, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. And it has, when this creature dies, if it had one or more counters on it, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, then put this creature's counters on that token. So, basically, this creature replaces itself if it had counters on it, right? If it didn't have any counters, if this gets bolted turn 1, and you cast no other spells before it, or after it, I should say, this creature will die and you won't get a fractal because it will enter as a 0/0 with 0 +1/+1 counters and cease to exist immediately as it enters the board. But even if you cast one spell after this, as long as that spell's mana value is greater than this creature's power, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it. Fun little interaction. If you have a card like the Ozolith or the new Ooze card, right? The Ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when a creature with +1/+1 counters on it dies, you create that many mutagen tokens. The Ozolith, if a creature with counters on it would die, you put counters on the Ozolith. Basically, you could you get the fractal with the counters, and then you also get the counters on the Ozolith. And you get the counters on the fractal, and you get the mutagen tokens from the Ooze. It's not a replacement effect. So just keep that in mind if you're seeing that card or if you're running that card in Commander. Moving forward, we have Comforting Counsel. 1 colorless and a green for an enchantment that has whenever you gain life, you put a growth counter on this enchantment. And then as long as there are 5 or more growth counters on this enchantment, creatures you control get +3/+3. It's a continuous buff, continuous anthem on your creatures. Once this has 5 counters on it, you're in green. It's not limited to life once per turn. So, if you have the pests that can die and create cause you to gain life, if you attack with a creature with lifelink, that's an instance of gaining life. If that creature has double strike, that's 2 instances of gaining life. You have Essence Warden. That allows you to gain life whenever a creature enters. This with Essence Warden on the field, 1 turn rotation, you could potentially gain 5 life, and you automatically jump up to having all of your creatures get +3/+3 in the early game. So, a really cool card for 2 mana with a very small set of hoops to jump through to get a pretty decent buff on your creatures. Moving forward, we have the green Emeritus. We have Emeritus of Abundance, 2 colorless and a green for a 3/4 elf druid with vigilance. This creature enters prepared, so already enters prepared. And then whenever this creature attacks, if you control 8 or more lands, this creature becomes prepared. And the sorcery that is imprinted on this card, or prepared on this card, I should say, is Regrowth, 1 colorless and a green. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So, you have to attack with this. It is a 3/4 with vigilance, so it doesn't tap when it's attacking. If you find a way to buff this thing's toughness, you get basically a way to return a card from your graveyard to your hand each of your main phases. Right? If this is prepared and as enters prepared, you say you play this on your second main phase. It survives a turn rotation. You attack with this on, or you cast Regrowth off of this, and then you attack, and you control 8 or more lands. Your second main phase, you could recast Regrowth. So pretty powerful. Allows you to get things back, and yeah, it's probably up there as my second or third Emeritus in the ranking. Number one's going to be the mono black Emeritus. Moving on, we have Germination Practicum. This is the Paradigm spell for green. It's a 3 colorless and 2 green, so 5 mana value overall. Sorcery lesson, and you put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. With the Paradigm spells, you get this ability each one of your main phases as long as the first copy of it resolved. Each of your first main phases. So once a turn, this gets cast for free if the first copy resolved. So, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. With green, there's Hardened Scales effects, token or counter doublers. This could kind of really get out of hand. I mean, even with Hardened Scales, every turn you're putting each turn rotation, you're putting 3 +1/+1 counters on a creature, or on your creatures. So it can be really good, really, really quickly. It's not the most profound effect, but like I said, these Paradigm cards have a good effect, but they are tamed down because you get to use that basically once a turn rotation. So really powerful card. Like I said, I want to see how the Paradigm cards play out. Moving on to Noxious Newt. 1 colorless and a green. It is a common. It is a 1/2 creature salamander. It is a mana dork. You can tap the Noxious Newt for green. But what I really like is it's a mana dork with Death Touch. Early game, this thing's going to be your ramp. But also, as long as their creature doesn't have Indestructible and as long as their creature doesn't have Trample, blocking their biggest, baddest creature with a 1/2 Death Touch that you've used to ramp and put yourself ahead seems like a very strong card, especially in the common slot, and I like to see the mana dorks getting more relevant abilities just to help later in the game. Moving on, we have Slumbering Trudge, X and a green. It's a 6/6 plant beast. This creature enters with a number of stun counters on it equal to 3 minus X. If it entered with a stun counter on it, tap it. So, right, to net even, to make this enter with 0 stun counters on it, you got to pay 4. Right, 4 for a 6/6 is a decent exchange, but 1 for a 6/6 that comes in tapped with 3 stun counters on it isn't the best, but and it only says it would come in with 3 stun counters if you paid 1 for it, so it wouldn't untap for 3 turns, but don't necessarily need to untap with it. Thinking of cards that want you to sacrifice bigger creatures, you have the new Get Rog Monster, but you need to mount with this. You have like Disciple of Bolus, where you could drop Disciple of Bolus after only paying 1 for this, sacrifice Slumbering Trudge, because the stun counters don't affect its power and toughness. It's not reduced By that, sacrifice this, gain 6 life, draw 6 cards. The Great Henge, this thing's a 6/6 for 1, reduces the mana value of the Great Henge to cast. Going to be a powerful card. You're going to see it around. Just for a 6/6 for 1, opens the door for some shenanigans to unfold. Moving on, we have Topiary Lecturer, 2 colorless and a green for a 1/2 elf druid with increment. And it has tap, add an amount of green equal to this creature's power. This is Gyre Sage, increment Gyre Sage. So that was evolved. This is increment, very similar mechanics. And yeah, it just a mana dork that's going to progressively get bigger, right? Increment works with proliferate because it's +1/+1 counters, so you can proliferate your counters, make this thing bigger, add more mana to your mana pool, and move forward with that. Next, we have Pest Rescuer, 2 colorless and a green for a 2/2 Dryad Druid. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you don't control a pest creature token, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, when this token dies, you gain 1 life. If you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. And this one is from the Commander product. It's Ophiomancer. Ophiomancer is a very powerful card, very used card in Aristocrat strategies in black. That's the same text, but take away the pest, and you create a snake, token. So I like this card. I also like the fact that technically the pest you're creating gives you 2 life with Pest Rescuer on the battlefield instead of just 1. Right? If you have a free sack outlet, you can sack that pest every turn. And since Pest Rescuer sees, hey, you don't have any pests on the battlefield, you can then create a pest token and just continue that and gain, 8 life around the table in 1 turn rotation. Moving on to the last card from the Commander Precons, and the last card in green, Yavimaya Bloomsage, 2 colorless and a green for a Dryad Druid 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then if that creature has power 7 or greater, this card becomes prepared. And the prepared spell on this is Channel. Until end of turn, anytime you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. If you do, add a colorless. So any mana ability, you can pay 1 life in addition to activating that mana ability to add an additional colorless mana. So you're doubling up on your mana from all your mana abilities. Can allow for big turns, and it's only 2 green mana to activate the sorcery. Granted, Yavimaya Bloomsage does not come onto the battlefield prepared, but you are in green. If you had the Trudge, right, and you cast Trudge, and even if it's tapped, then you play this, and you put a +1/+1 counter on that Trudge. That Trudge is now a 7/7. So pretty quickly you can get this up to then activate Channel, basically double your mana with your mana dorks, your mana rocks, and ramp out some big creatures, some big threats before your opponents can build a board state. And with that being said, that is favorite cards in green from Secrets of Strixhaven. Please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys like in in the upcoming Secrets of Strixhaven set what your favorite green cards are, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.